Evelyn Harper had always been a wanderer at heart. Her restless spirit misaligned with the slow, predictable rhythm of Pine Hollow, a small town nestled between rolling hills and dense forests. The town was the kind of place where everyone knew each other's names, where secrets were whispered but never truly hidden. For Evelyn, the woods beyond her cottage were a sanctuary, a refuge from the lingering grief of her father's passing and the mounting tensions with her mother. On this particular autumn afternoon, the air was crisp, tinged with the scent of pine and the sweet decay of fallen leaves. The canopy above blazed with hues of amber and crimson, but a heavy mist curled around the tree trunks, lending an otherworldly aura to the familiar landscape. Driven by a nameless yearning, she ventured deeper than ever before, the soft rustle of her footsteps the only sound in the hushed stillness. As she navigated the labyrinth of trees, Evelyn's thoughts were a tangled web of melancholy and frustration. Her mother's stern disapproval of her dreams to travel and write weighed heavily on her, each conversation escalating into an argument that widened the chasm between them. Lost in her reverie, she nearly missed the glimmer that caught her eye, a fleeting flash of light reflecting off something metallic, obscured by a tangle of roots and moss. Intrigued, she pushed aside the foliage to reveal a peculiar object half buried in the earth. It was unlike anything she'd ever seen. An orb fashioned from an otherworldly metal, its surface etched with patterns that seemed to shift and dance like shadows underwater. The metal was neither warm nor cold, but a strange alloy that defied identification. A sense of both dread and fascination prickled at the back of her neck. She hesitated, a whisper of caution echoing in her mind, but curiosity compelled her forward. Kneeling down, Evelyn reached out tentatively, her fingers brushing against the smooth surface. The moment skin met metal, a surge of energy coursed through her, and the world around her fragmented like shattered glass. She was pulled into a torrent of visions, a cacophony of sights and sounds that overwhelmed her senses. She stood on battlefields drenched in blood, warriors clashing under storm-dark skies. She witnessed rituals in ancient groves where hooded figures chanted in languages long forgotten. Timelines blurred, past and present became indistinguishable. Faces of strangers flashed before her, their eyes filled with despair, joy, malice. Then the scenes shifted to Pine Hollow. She saw the town's foundation built upon treachery, realized the quaint facade hid generations of deceit. The images became more personal, the secret infidelities of neighbors, whispers of corruption among town officials, unspoken abuses behind closed doors. Each revelation was a blow, stripping away the innocence with which she viewed her world. Just as she thought she could bear no more, the visions propelled her into the future, a future steeped in darkness. She saw herself standing amidst the rubble of Pine Hollow, buildings reduced to ash, the sky ablaze with unnatural light. Figures roamed the streets, their features distorted, eyes vacant and soulless. She saw her mother, gaunt and weeping, reaching out but always just beyond grasp. The metallic object in her hand pulsed in time with her racing heart, anchoring her to this harrowing reality. Evelyn tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. The weight of foreknowledge pressed upon her, suffocating in its intensity. Suddenly, the vision ceased, and she was thrust back into the silence of the forest, collapsing onto the damp earth, gasping for breath as tears streamed down her face. The forest remained unchanged, but she knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Staggering back to town, Evelyn grappled with the enormity of what she'd experienced. The familiar streets now seemed alien, shadows lurking at the edges of her vision. She watched, heart pounding, as scenes from her visions began to unfold with chilling accuracy. The grocer and his wife, usually the picture of domestic harmony, erupted into a violent argument on the street, hurling curses and accusations. Sirens blared as an ambulance raced past. She later learned that a child had fallen gravely ill under mysterious circumstances, just as she'd seen. Consumed by a desperate need to prevent further tragedy, she approached friends and neighbors, begging them to heed her warnings. But her wild eyes and fragmented explanations only served to alienate them. Rumors spread like wildfire. Evelyn Harper was losing her mind, haunted by grief, succumbing to the madness that had claimed her grandmother years ago. Determined to find answers, she sought out old Mr. Whitaker, a reclusive figure living on the outskirts of town. Rumored to be the keeper of Pine Hollow's oldest lore, he was said to know secrets others dared not speak of. The journey to his dilapidated cottage was fraught with trepidation, each step weighed down by the oppressive atmosphere thickening around her. When he opened the door, his eyes widened, not with surprise, but with dread, as if he'd been expecting her. Inviting her inside, he listened in grave silence as she recounted her tale. When she produced the artifact, Mr. Whitaker recoiled. "You should never have touched it," he whispered. "The Harbinger reveals what should stay hidden. It binds itself to those who awaken it, feeding off their energy, their very soul." He explained that the object was a conduit for forces beyond comprehension, and by taking it, she had set events into irreversible motion. Outside, the ground began to tremble, a low rumble building beneath their feet. The sky darkened unnaturally, clouds swirling in ominous patterns. Evelyn knew time was running out. With a resolute determination, she realized she had to return the artifact to its resting place to sever the connection and halt the impending doom. Racing through the town amid chaos, shattering windows, car alarms blaring, people running in panic, she headed back to the woods. The path twisted and turned, the trees seeming to reach out with grasping branches, trying to impede her progress. Upon reaching the ancient oak, she could feel the artifact vibrating intensely, almost burning in her hand. Summoning all her strength, she dug into the earth, pressing the metal deep into the soil. As she did, a blinding light enveloped her, and a profound silence followed. When the light faded, Pine Hollow stood serene once more, the sky clear, the air still. The townspeople went about their lives, unaware of the catastrophe averted. But Evelyn was nowhere to be found. Search parties combed the woods for days, but no trace of her remained. She became a ghost in the town's memory, a cautionary tale whispered among the superstitious. Life returned to its tranquil routine, but something subtle had shifted. A lingering sense of unease, a shadow passing over faces of those who thought they glimpsed a figure watching from the edge of the woods. And deep beneath the ancient oak, the metallic object lay dormant, waiting patiently for the next soul drawn by its silent call, the cycle poised to begin anew.